TGR News, broadcasting from the State of Israel.
Welcome back to TGR News.
Welcome, welcome.
Well, yet again, another week.
Another week.
Another week of handing out food. Well, while we show you what we do every week of handing out food to everyone, buying it, packing it up, and handing it out to the families that we give out every week, I want you to listen to something. I want to say something. This week, we've jumped out on a leap of faith again.
Yes.
Just like last week, making this the second week in a row where we added more to our weekly list of families we give food to every single week. Now this is like I'm saying, yes, it's every week. So you got people, I don't know how many people understand, it's not something we do just here and there. It really is a leap of faith that the finances will catch up to our food costs.
Yes.
That's why we started this whole thing off calling it a leap of faith. Because we're doing it before you guys send the money. And we just believe it's coming.
Yes.
And just remember, this is a weekly, reoccurring expense to feed these people. So please join us to support this ministry.
Yes.
The links to support are below this video. And if you don't know how to go below the video to find the links to the Golden Report and the Patreon, all you got to do is go to thegoldenreport.com and go to our support page and add yourself on there to start supporting. And we need all the help we can get to feed these wonderful people here in Israel.
Oh, yes.
So and they need it.
And that's what the ministry's all about, saving Jews here, and when the time comes, with boats.
And the thing is the boxes of food that you see us passing out, it really is. It's not like a little symbolic thing to say, hey, here's some food. If you as a family, 4 or 5 people, and you could not afford to buy any food, this would keep you're fed through the week. It's a real box of food. It's it's like
we get the food they really need,
and plenty of it so that they can
canned
eat.
Goods. Yes.
Yeah, it's not just what they want and what they need, and then here we just put it in there, and it's just enough to say we bought. It's enough for the week.
Yes.
We buy their groceries for the week, every week for the months and the months and 6 months. As long as we've been doing this, we've been buying their groceries, and you guys. You really need your help to come in and support this part of the ministry. And so you can go to thegoldenreport.com or to the links down below this video. So let's get into it.
Yes, let's get into what happened this week on the news.
You're not going to guess what I'm going to say.
So a lot happened.
A lot happened this week. Well, let's start off with something I think is kind of funny. This was the headlines of this piece of news. 15 Mossad agents were arrested in Turkey.
Yeah, you were a joke.
Well, that was a joke. At least that's what the Turkish authorities are saying, that they caught 15 Mossad agents. They said they had turned 200 Turkish security agents as informants. Of course, they're not Mossad agents. Now, what Turkey did, which is ridiculous, is they put out pictures of these 15 Mossad agents with their Mossad ID. I don't know how many spy agencies in the world send their spies off with spy IDs. I mean, that defeats the purpose of being a spy.
Yeah, they're definitely secretive, so they're not going to have all this information of who they are.
There's no such thing. Even an analyst doesn't have an ID card that says Mossad ID, working Mossad number 007, right? Anyway.
They've been watching too many James Bond's movies.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. In Kiryat Arba, it's a town near Hebron. It's a Jewish town near Hebron. They live with a reality that every time the Arabs have a wedding in that area around Hebron, they always shoot the guns up in the air, the Arabs, right, when they do the thing. So bullets are falling from the sky.
Yeah.
It's a daily problem. Almost all the houses have holes in their roofs from this stuff. This week, one child was hit in the head in his bedroom and was killed, and that is new.
Yes.
It wasn't a direct hit, but you know.
Yeah. The thing of it is, they do that in all the Arab villages around here in Israel, and they've
Yeah.
even had in the past where someone in the wedding party ended up with a bullet in them.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember a couple years ago there was one incident where the father has his gun on the table in the wedding party, right, when they're having the reception or something, and his kid took the gun, played with it, and shot his dad in the leg by accident because the gun's just because it's part of the wedding.
Yeah,
you know.
and which don't need to be.
Yeah. Well, Bennett came back this week after meeting with Putin in Russia. He said he had a warm and friendly visit where he found a partner for peace.
Oh, now that's a joke because everybody knows Russia helps fund Syria and Iran with military equipments,
Absolutely.
and Russia was the one that helped Iran the most. Well, there was other countries, but I mean they really helped Iran with the nuclear facilities, and it's and they have never been and never will be a friend to Israel. So it's just
or a friend to anyone in the Western world.
Yeah.
I've said it a few times on the channel. If you don't know where Russia stands, if they're your enemy or not, look at the people who are outright in your face enemy and look what weapons they use.
Yes.
All the people who fight against America and Israel, they all use Russian tanks, Russian guns, Russian missiles, Russian
airplanes.
Yeah, Russian airplanes. So if you don't, that tells the story right there. You don't have to get in deep and talk about politics and this and that. That's the story right there. You know who's your enemy.
Yeah, that's right.
The Ministry of Defense has found and officially called out 6 new organizations, Arab organizations, of being terrorist organizations, meaning organizations that fund terrorist activity.
Yeah.
These are organizations that receive a lot of money, and then they've proven that their money goes to
terrorist
activities to do that. Biden has stated that he is against this and is telling Israel to back down. These organizations were bringing weapons into Israel also is one of the things.
Yeah. Well, this is it's you can see more and more how Biden is turning against Israel, and it's going to be bad for the U.S. because the Bible says, and God promised, I'll bless them that bless thee and curse them that curse thee. And America is going through a tremendous amount of problems, and so they're gonna be even facing more.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's caused some problems in here because we have like Meritz, for example.
Yes.
It's a political party. They're extreme left wings.
Yeah.
Okay, the extreme left wing party in the coalition that Bennett made.
Yeah.
And they're also speaking out against their own coalition here in Israel for saying these things and saying that was a big mistake, that Israel shouldn't do these kind of things because it upset our friends around the world.
It reminds me of the Old Testament. I know a lot of Christians think, they should not worry about the Old Testament, but there's so much to learn in the Old Testament. And God had told the Israelites, you do this. If you don't do this, I'll do that. And one of the things he did was turn them over to evil counsel. And you really see a spiritual thing going on here in America.
Absolutely. The coalition stability is being shaken at this time because of all these things going on with this, the disagreeing inside the coalition. When the right-wing parties are passing a law that will continue to build in Judea and Samaria.
And this is good news because this is the land that God gave to the Jews.
Yep.
They're supposed to build here. They're supposed to, live here.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to keep building, and Israel. Our population keeps growing just like everywhere else in the world. So we need homes, and we need. It's ridiculous that someone outside of Israel would tell us where we can build in our own land.
Exactly.
People don't understand that aspect of it. This past Saturday, Arabs opened fire between each other in the middle of the day in Jaffa port, right? That's the south of Tel Aviv. I mean, that's the middle of the country. That's like, in the middle of New York City
that's
almost.
Terrible, yeah.
One of them was killed. I mean, it was just in the middle of the day on Saturday.
That's like what's happening in America. All these people getting around shooting in the middle of the day and killing people for no reason at all.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's really
what's going on around.
Yeah, absolutely. On Monday, Israel had a large Air Force training exercise. Now, when I say large, I mean very large. And actually, it was in conjunction with a couple other countries.
Eight countries, including the UAE.
Yeah, including absolutely. There was 2 reasons why they did it. One was because you always need to train.
Yes.
And then show the agreement accord, the peace accords with these countries like the UAE and stuff.
Yeah.
And the second is to show Iran that, hey, we're ready.
Yeah, we're ready.
We're ready for whatever. Come on. But Biden told Israel again on this exercise he didn't like that. He thought it was a show of force, and he was against it. And he basically said all the problems that we have with Iran, we need to fix them with diplomacy. And when diplomacy don't work, you got to go into more diplomacy.
Yeah, like what happened with him in Afghanistan, right?
Yeah.
He's leaning on the Taliban to act right.
Yeah.
Where you've got the Americans and the people that help the Americans still stuck in.
Yeah, well, it's not Israeli news, but I noticed in the news this past week also, the Biden's approval polls are lower than I don't remember. I think since Nixon or something. Something like that. Yeah. So who knows? Maybe finally something will happen there. Well, this is horrible news. Corona vaccine stuff.
Yeah.
Looks like in 2, at most probably 3 weeks, Israel start vaccinating kids 5 and up. Okay, they said that they'll also get the 2 shots, but each shot would be only a third in amount of vaccine of the vaccine. The only thing when I see this stuff on the news and we talk about this stuff, the only thing I think of is I wish we had Bibi back.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you remember me talking about it, but all during the times of the beginning of this Corona stuff, and Bibi was sort of like Trump, hurrying up with the vaccines and stuff. But Bibi said from the very beginning, we get the vaccines and then we got them, and we saw how he said he saw how the vaccine was working or something. And but what he said is what I wish he was back for. He said there is no reason to vaccinate the children.
Well, the thing of it is, the World Health Organization is against, basically, they said there's no reason to vaccinate the children.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I mean, and these are the powers to be that understand that stuff. So why does the government want to force an issue?
Yeah, I don't even know what. I don't want to, I don't want to get into that. I know what I'm planning on doing with my kids.
Yeah.
I tell you that, and I'm sure you can figure out yourself what I'm planning on doing with my kids. Yeah. Anyway, so Bedouins in the Negev. Okay, we've been talking about the Bedouins in the Negev for quite a few months now, about the crime and everything else down in south that they're doing. But something new was in the news this week. Apparently, and I never even knew this, but in their religion or whatever they want to call it, their spinoff of Islam or something, they believe in exorcism and stuff like that. And the people that they have to do the exorcisms are like they're sheiks and doctors. I mean, they're like official doctors and sheiks. They're their exorcists, right?
Yeah.
So so this Sunday, a husband brought his wife, not an old couple, but a fairly young couple, probably younger than me and Ola, and to his local exorcist, and they do all kinds of violent things in these exorcisms, and they ended up killing his wife.
Well, they cannot fool with evil.
Yes,
It's and this is just some evil stuff, and that you get in trouble.
Yeah.
You cannot fool with the devil.
If you would have asked me if Arabs in Israel are doing exorcisms last week, I would say, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like every time we still got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
I tell you that. I mean, I live here and I deal with these issues day by day, and as a civilian and as a IDF soldier, and I had no idea something like this was going on.
I know, I didn't either until it hits the news. I guess unless you live in that community or very close to that community, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I have no idea. Huh? Well, on Tuesday, Iran was on the other side of the cyber attacks. This Tuesday, someone launched a cyber attack on Iran and was able to cripple their gas stations. I'm talking about the public gas stations, right? I mean, the citizens there, they were not able to get gas, and I think it took the whole day just to get about half of their gas stations across the country working again, and it was only the analog hand pump kind. And so I mean, so they finally feel what it's like on the other side of the cyber attack stuff, because it's usually them doing the cyber attacks. Now, it wasn't Israel, but the IDF has gotten ready for an attack from Iran, because we know they think, because they've said they think, that it was us who did it to them.
Yeah.
right? So we didn't do it, but it doesn't mean just because we said we didn't do it, they're going to believe it and nothing's going to happen.
Of
So
course
we're
they
getting
don't.
ready for anything
They're
that could
just
happen out
using
of
it
that.
as an excuse to do what they want to do, even though they might even know who did it by now.
Yeah.
But you know what? It should tell the world, hey, maybe we should get away from some of this digital stuff and go back to some of the manual stuff, because then you can't stop it.
Yeah, well, remember 2 weeks ago we had a cyber attack here in Israel at the
With the
hospital.
hospitals,
That's
yeah.
insane. That's
Ugh.
crazy. Your hospital's under cyber attack, and all of the patient's files and procedures they went through that's in the computer, it just poof, just disappeared.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cyber attacks are getting worse and worse.
Worse, they
'Cause,
are.
Well, of course they're going to get worse, and they're going to continue probably to get worse and worse
yeah.
because, like you said, we're going more and more digital with everything.
Yeah.
Everything's digital. I think we're the last few people around doing paper. I think everyone else would be sitting here with a computer, digital.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, we also knew. Well, now we'll talk about Hezbollah and Nasrala. Nasrala, the head of the Hezbollah up in
this is in
Lebanon.
Lebanon, yeah.
in Lebanon. We always knew that he did a lot of illegal activities, just like all of the terrorist organizations, so that he can raise as much money as they can, so that they
They're
can
really
continue to
into
buy
dope,
him.
yeah.
Continue bombing us and everything. So we always knew they dealt drugs, and they were buying and selling drugs all over the world. But we didn't know until recently, and when I say recently, I mean in the last few days, just how big his operation really is. I mean, he put Pablo Escobar to shame. I mean, this guy's, the Hezbollah cartel reaches from the Middle East around here through the northern Africa countries, Europe, and all the way to South America. And I'm
Which
talking
means
about
it will
tons.
end up getting into America.
Yeah, tons. It probably already is. We just didn't
know it. Yeah.
You never know. It might already. Yeah.
Yeah, the drugs bring big money, so that's why all the big terrorist organizations are into it.
Yeah. Now, don't forget, Hezbollah. Hezbollah is a political party that's been voted in
The government
and by far. I mean, they have the majority for sure. They run the country of Lebanon. So when you live in a country that the leaders of the country decide that it's legal, so there's no one in their country going to arrest them or do anything about it, because it's their country.
Yeah.
Right. And they're dealing drugs all over the world. They get pretty bold, and they can allow themselves to get pretty bold with these drug moves, because it's their police is not going to do anything. Their government, because they are the government.
Exactly. Which is sad.
Yeah.
Like
I didn't know how big it really was. Well, like I said, it was a lot going on this week.
It was. We had a lot going on this week. And you got another good video coming out this coming week.
Yeah, I've got a video coming out, as usual. I'm sure you'll like it. Keep an eye for it. It's I interviewed a guy who lives in Sderot, where the missiles come in and the rockets come in it's a way of life down there now for those poor people. See what their life is like to raise a family down there and own a business. Yeah, well, don't forget, like we started this video off, to join us on thegoldenreport.com and give us the support that we need to help feed all these people and save Jews. That's what this ministry is all about.
Yes, and we appreciate you watching the videos. We appreciate your comments, and so we just want to let you know that your help is really letting us help others.
Absolutely. So until next week, bye-bye.
Goodbye.